review so far. The ones that I'm kind of underlining and circling are the new facts. So like protection is kind of a new fact. Storage for later is a new fact. And then this last one about organ systems is a new fact. So if you're just writing down the new facts, that's awesome. That's fine.
Okay. So we're supposed to be writing this down?
And your book, yes ma'am. So, and if you need me to come back, I will come back, but I am also videoing right now too, so you guys can look at it on YouTube. Okay, so organ systems. Now we finally get to the good stuff, okay? And this is important because when we see the prompt later, you'll have to be able to identify its circulatory system, its digestive system, its nervous system, its skeletal system, all that stuff. Now we really actually can segregate each of the functions of the body into different systems. Bacteria don't have like a muscular system or a nervous system. Protists don't really. Fungi, they have some things, but not to this extent. Plants have more organ systems than anything that we've talked about so far. Animals definitely do. So now we really get into the systems part of life. And then while I'm thinking about reproduction, this is one of my favorite videos, and I'm really hoping that the school server doesn't block it. Have you? Because it's called penis fencing.
What?
There we go. Okay. This is a type of reproduction that annelid worms do. Okay. Worms. Okay, flatworms. Here we go.
They've had some classic interviews.
Oh, let's skip this.
Oh, Jesus, you.
Can I skip this ad?
You don't know to do an interview with Dave Skywalker? He's a fan. Could make history.
The CIA want you to take him out.
For drinks?
You want to take him out.
You want us to kill the leader of North Korea?
Okay, this is just an advertisement.
Shake his hands. Does something was critical and touch nothing.
I sat on it. Interview. Rated R.
Okay, here we go.
Leslie Newman and the Shape of Life photographic team have set up a special tank to film a flatworm's unique mating behavior.
I'm rolling.
Okay, get the other one in. Just swimming around. Heads up and look around. There, there, up there.
Okay, hands out of the water.
Okay.
No.
No, there he goes. I think they're going to do it now. I think the one's approaching the other one, and it's rearing up. You can see it. You can see it. It's going. It's going. It's going to stop.
Got it. I'm on.
Okay. Oh. He's rearing up.
So they rear up.
We may never know what the first animal courtship was like, but these flatworms can show us how even simple animals add their own twist. For them, sex is more like war than love. It's known as penis fencing, and the worms are the swordsmen. On the midsection of each flatworm, double daggers protrude. Each dagger is actually a penis.
That's reproduction right there.
The first one who can make a successful jab delivers its sperm.
I'll explain. I'll explain.
A bout of this violent sex can last up to an hour and leave gaping holes in the body of the loser. Sperm can be injected anywhere on the skin where it's then absorbed. The losing flatworm must then bear the burden of motherhood, committing valuable resources to having offspring. Soon after, the designated mother will release the young and prepare for yet another brutal round of penis fencing.
All right, so the loser becomes pregnant, okay? If you lose this sex war, then you become pregnant. So you have to donate all your resources from eating to raising the young and to giving them nutrients from your body. Yes, ma'am.
So, are they male or female?
They are they're not transsexual. They are hermaphroditic. Hermaphrodites have the
Take away
ability
nothing else from my class. Let us
to.
If you don't have the magic, don't bother.
That's gonna be a good movie too. Sorry. Okay, so they have the listen. I wanted to show you that video because it was cool. If it distracts you, then I'm sorry. We'll move on. Pretty much they're hermaphroditic. They're both they're both male and female, but so they both have sex parts that are female parts and male parts. So they both have the ability to inject sperm into the other one, and whichever one gets the injection loses and becomes the female, becomes pregnant, and the other one is going to go do that with somebody else. It's called penis fencing, but that's a type of reproduction. We're going to see lots of different types of reproduction in the animal kingdom because we've got quite a variety of adaptations. Last question, then we're moving on. Yes.
Okay, so like, okay, so once whoever is, okay, so then like they go again, like, and then that, like, you can be a mother and then you can also win, like you can lose and win.
No. Like you can't lose and well, okay, if you think winning is being the mother and giving all your resources to your young, yes, that's winning. But winning the penis fencing little game here, then that means that you're still the father. You're the father and you're the male, and the other one's going to be pregnant. Okay, so invertebrates, right? Inverts, and I'll tell you the not even 5 things. 2 things you're going to be writing down about them. So invertebrates is our big category, and then we're going to write down just a couple of facts about them. Okay. First fact: lack backbones. And that's just the definition of invertebrate. So that's pretty easy to understand. Lacking backbones. So there's one thing. This one is a fact that you need to know. Most of the animal kingdom are invertebrates. 95% of them don't have a backbone. And that's, unusual because mainly when you think of animals, you're probably thinking frogs, goats, lions, tigers, giraffes, dogs, cats. You're thinking of as vertebrates, right? Generally, you don't think of the invertebrates, but they are definitely a factor, or the largest factor of the animal kingdom. They usually have exoskeletons, okay? Think of skeleton, but on the outside. So it's one that's going to be a protection. Okay? No, that's a shell. That's not an exoskeleton. Think of a bug. What happens when you step on a bug? It crunches, right? You crunch the exoskeleton. That's what that is, okay? And then you can write down yourself one example from the bottom part.
So jellyfish and jellyfish.
Okay, moving on. No, I told you it's pretty quick, so you write down a couple things and then we move. You can see some examples here. Urchin, sea urchin, don't step on those babies, they're spiny. We've got starfish and crustacean, which would be a crab.
Those are delicious.
Okay, sponges. Now, this is invertebrates was the big category. Now we're going to get through little subcategories. So underneath invertebrates, maybe indent and put these 2 categories: sponges and then cnidarians. C is silent. Cnidarian. And I'm going to underline the most important features or characteristics of these specific types of animals. The sponges, there's only 3 factors we need, or characteristics. All of them are actually important. Okay? And I'll tell you what this means. Asymmetrical means that it doesn't have a mirrored image left and right. So it can be kind of abnormally shaped. So a sponge can be like... SpongeBob is actually, he's symmetrical. Okay? It can be like, a bunch of different tubes, and they're not symmetrical, okay? Filter feeders, that means they it's kind of what it sounds like. They filter the water. What do you think's in the water that they capture and eat? Yeah, it's actually phytoplankton. Those are the nutrients, okay? So they can capture phytoplankton. Also, another SpongeBob reference there, because we saw the picture of him not too long ago. Sessile. Does anybody know what this word means? Okay, it means can't move. Okay, if that little sponge is not going to get up and walk to the left side of the ocean and say, "Yep, this is my new happy home." Okay, it's got to stay planted. It doesn't get to move. So sessile means it can't move. Cnidarians. Special things about cnidarians. Let's just write an example. Okay, I like jellyfish or sea anemones because because that's one that you guys are familiar with. Jellyfish, I'm sure you're familiar. You know that if you touch a jellyfish, you're going to get stung.
Yep.
Not if you touch the top. Okay, I will remember that. Okay, so pretty much, if you have that, they actually have some electrical potential because they have a really very basic nervous system that they can conduct electricity through. Okay, so cnidarians, just know jellyfish and sea anemones. Those are some good examples of those. Yes.
You said earlier during discussion on the fact that plankton was a cyberplankton, right?
Was it plankton? Yeah, plankton is phytoplankton. Phytoplankton, yeah.
Where's SpongeBob headed to now?
Oh man, yeah. That's like getting vicious right now. The sponge is gonna eat the phytoplankton, so the sponge eats the phytoplankton, SpongeBob eats phytoplankton. Okay, the third and fourth categories with me. Worms and mollusks. Worms. These are what we just saw were flatworms. That was the penis fencing ones. And you know, fencing is the sport fencing. That's what they call that. They're like, yeah. Okay. So that's the penis fencing one. And then you know that you just have seen generic worms. What's an example of a parasitic worm that you know of?
Ringworms.
Ringworm is actually a fungus. Tapeworm, thank you. So tapeworm is what I was looking for. A tapeworm is super duper disgusting, and it goes into your intestines and it pretty much eats the food that you eat, and it grows and grows and grows, and then some people have to, like, if they get a tapeworm, if they, you know, because it's not like you usually don't get a tapeworm on purpose. So I can't remember, like a couple years ago, people tried to use it for like diet. Gross.
Wait, so they ate it?
They ate it on purpose so that the animal would take all of their nutrients and then they would lose weight.
That didn't work.
Like, I don't believe so. I think they actually, some people died.
But wait, tapeworms can like grow like really big.
Yeah, they can go really big. Okay, so I'm moving on. I'll answer tapeworm questions in a second. Mollusks, these are ones that you are familiar with based off probably like a seafood restaurant. You have seen clams, most definitely. You've seen octopus. But notice that clam and octopus, they're in the same category. They look so different. But they are still in the same phyla, the animal phylum. Okay? I do want you to know they have bilateral symmetry. And I want you to write down shells. So those are two characteristics about mollusks. Bilateral means that they have a mirrored image of one another. So this actually is if I do the mirrored image like this way, you're looking from the top of it, it's mirrored. And then octopus has a mirrored image left and right. So like we are bilateral. We have an equal left and right image.
So like mollusks?
We are not mollusks, it's just a characteristic of mollusks. Many phyla have that characteristic. And shells are going to be really commonly seen for the mollusk category. Thumbs up, ready to go? All right, cool. Arthropods and echinoderms. Arthropods, this one is definitely going to have an exoskeleton. Because what do you notice are arthropods? Insects, right. Most of the insects are going to be falling under the arthropod category. A second characteristic that is really special for arthropods is they have jointed appendages. What are appendages? Thank you. Arms and legs, right. So arms and legs. And you've probably seen a spider or an ant. They have the like little jointed like L-shaped arms. And so they can, you know, they can do push-ups and curls. Just like we have jointed appendages. They do as well. Spiders, you can definitely see it because they have long arms. You can see those appendages, yes.
So are crabs, arthropods, and that were the Nidorus?
No, that was what was it that I just wrote on that one? The other guy? I'll have to look back because it wasn't crab. It was crustacean. Crustacean is something else, not a crab. Okay, yeah. So you got insects mainly in this category, but you do have crabs. I'm glad you mentioned that, Cole. Lobsters also have jointed appendages. Echinoderms, awesome words. Okay, so echinoderms are going to be also including, not an exoskeleton. They have an endoskeleton. So where do you think their skeleton is?
Inside.
Inside, like we have an endoskeleton. They also do. This is a neat tube feet. That's a neat adaptation that they have. It's actually a way that they get their food and a way that they can move. So you guys know starfish. Sea stars are what they're called too. This is like sand dollar. They actually can move.
Aren't they sand?
No. That's a living organism. If you've ever seen them, okay, so we went to, I guess, the Bahamas, and clear water. You could see 10 feet down in the water. If they're kind of a dark color, like brown, they're actually alive. So if you've ever seen that or see it in the future, like that is a living organism. They have little tiny feet. and they're called tube feet because they look like little tubes, like suction cups, and they can move. And that also is what happens if their feet are, everywhere because they've got 2 feet. They actually get some food and then bring it to their mouth hole. Their mouth hole is in the middle where that star is, but on the underside. Okay, so their 2 feet kind of bring the food to their mouth hole and then they eat it.
So the mouth is in the ground.
The mouth is underneath it. It's a little tiny hole though. You can't really tell it's a mouth.
So when you find a sand dollar at the beach, that's actually an organism.
Yeah, that's actually, when you find a sand dollar at the beach, when it's white in color, it's dead because it's been dehydrated, but it was a living organism. Yeah. I feel a little bad about collecting sand dollars now.
You keep them.
Yeah, if you can find them. Okay, now done with inverts. Verts. Ready? Vertebrates. Now we've got true backbones here, okay? Most of these, actually, all vertebrates, every single vertebrate will have an internal backbone and bilateral. And we already talked about what bilateral meant. But those are the 2 characteristics that all vertebrates have. Now, not all invertebrates, a couple of invertebrates did have either an endoskeleton or bilateral, but most of them didn't have all the characteristics that all vertebrates have. So that's what we just categorize this as a separate phyla. And you're very familiar with vertebrates. You got frogs, sharks, mice, birds, dinosaurs. Okay, that's what I mean by vertebrate. Okay, because you got vertebrae, spinal column. Them bones, yes. Yes.
Wait, what about sharks? Don't they have all the cartilage?
No, they have, their outside is a lot of cartilage, but they do have a backbone. To my understanding, yes, I do believe so. Now, I'm not a zoologist, but I will work on that. Oh, no, I'm going to skip that for now. All right, fish. All of these characteristics are important, right? Now, all the characteristics of fish. And you can see the different types of fish. Fish, of course, you think of like a carp or a perch or rainbow trout, halibut, salmon, stuff like that. There are tons and tons of different fish. So my favorite one is the bony fish. What are these things right here called?
Gills.
External or internal?
External.
External gills, right. We do also have internal gills, but not on that one in particular. 2-chambered heart. So you can just draw a heart if you want to. It doesn't look like this. 2 chambers. How many chambers does a human have? Thank you. 4 chambers. Good people know your anatomy here. And then also, they usually lay eggs. You remember that animals do have adaptations? The male fish has to spray the sperm in the water, and the water transfers the sperm to the egg. So they can't fertilize it internally. They have external fertilization. Thank you, Ms. Williams. All right, with me?
Yeah.
Okay, under here, put external fertilization. External fertilization, that's what it means by eggs. And then you were just asking me about cartilage. Stingrays are cartilaginous fish, so I'm guessing some sharks are cartilaginous fish. Any questions? Yeah.
The stingrays and jellyfish have like the same thing that make them look in electricity?
I think they conduct differently. Actually, I'd have to look that one up as well. I know a lot of random facts, but I don't know every random fact, so I can work on that there.
Do you know what causes electricity?
What?
Do you know what causes the electricity?
Oh, just ions and with different charges. All right, amphibians.
That's okay.
Amphibians and then reptiles.
Hey, look at that frog.
Amphibians. Okay, the ones I want you to write down. It does look like a demon frog. Moist skin. Eggs lack shells, and so, the eggs lacking shells just mean that they need to continually lay their eggs in a kind of moist area, that one that provides them some ability to get water into the egg. And then this one's awesome. Breathing with lungs or their skin. Okay, their skin is porous, and they can actually, if they need to, they're in the water. You know, water has dissolved oxygen. They can actually absorb the oxygen from the water if they're underwater. It's like a supersonic scuba diver with super cool talent. So you've got the ability to get oxygen from water, if just in case you need to hide from a predator or something, and you need to stay underwater for a long period of time. But you know, frogs, most of the time, frogs, amphibians are going to have lungs, because you know that they can croak, and the only way they can make that noise is from trying to get some air in different pockets and then putting it through a smaller hole. So frogs would be a good example of that one. Reptiles. So amphibians and reptiles are very different. Can I scroll down some? Okay. Reptiles. These two are very important. Okay. So amphibians have eggs with no shells. Reptiles have an amniotic egg. It's an egg with something on the inside. Amniotic fluid, amongst other things. So their nutrients are on the inside of their eggs, and that's why they can lay eggs that are usually have a shell, because they don't need to let water and other nutrients in through the membrane. They already have it inside. So their eggs are very, very different. And then also they have scaly skin. Chandler, head up. And then this is a chameleon, which has an adaptation of what? Camouflage. Good. Thumbs up, ready to go. Question?
Yes, so most reptiles come from eggs.
Do what?
Most reptiles come from eggs.
All reptiles come from eggs. Yeah, turtles make eggs, crocodiles make eggs, snakes make eggs, chameleons make eggs. They all make eggs. All right, birds and mammals. I think this is our last slide. Yeah.
In the first slide, you said no sexual. Which one is
Flatworms can actually split. They can do asexual like mitosis. Like there's something called planaria. If you chop their head off, their head develops into a new body.
What?
Like they don't need somebody else to do it all by themselves.
How do you do that?
So certain worms can do asexual reproduction because you can chop their head off and their head develops into a new body. All right, so important facts about the birds. Okay, actually many of these are feathers, hollow bones, and then wings. Why would it be important for a bird to have hollow bones? Right, they need to be able to lift off the ground and be lightweight. And then mammals, this is more complex because mammals, of course, are the most complex types of organisms. They have to have hair and fur. We already know that. They have to be able to make milk. So that means they have mammary glands. Okay. They have to be able to exhibit some sort of complex behavior, aka they understand the importance of taking care of their young. Because if their young don't survive, what happens to their species? It dies out and becomes extinct. So they understand that importance. So they have complex mental capacities and behaviors. And of course, you know that we bear live young, like that baby's not in an egg when mom births it out. It's alive and breathing. Slap it on the butt and it cries. So that we don't have eggs. There are two exceptions. A marsupial is going to have a pouch, aka a kangaroo. Okay, and a platypus is going to actually be able to lay eggs. Okay, so those are the only two exceptions because they are considered mammals, but they are weird mammals. Most mammals are going to have a uterus. Females, of course, have a uterus. And that's where the baby develops. And what's connecting the baby to the mom? Right, the umbilical cord. All right, write that last thing, and then pack up for me. Part 2 is the study guide is due tomorrow. We'll be checking those tomorrow. Okay, textbook on your desk, please, and thank you. Everything else is yours.
How come males can't produce milk?
Because they don't have appropriate number of mammary glands. Yay, guys! We will do our project stuff tomorrow.
What project stuff?
We're doing just a group activity, yeah. And then some fun pictures for you before you leave me. Fun pictures.
It's a kitty playing the weed.
Look at that big puppy. Look at the hungry cat. Oh, the elephant. What is it? Look at that elephant. Look at them kissing.
It's the huskies.
And look at the bears. There he is. And then the birthday hats on the turtles.
That's it.
I thought it was funny. Okay, textbook songs, one day. Next textbook, five. Sorry, guys.
Biology room, SpongeBob. Biology room, SpongeBob.
Bye, guys. Thank you. Yes. Sorry, guys. I didn't know. I thought you were coming next Friday. Or did you tell me? I gave you a date. I know. I thought I wrote it down, but I remembered. I literally remembered the 19th. What? Maybe it's just me.
I mean, if you want, I can come the next time.
Because AP is testing today. Yeah, she told me that. I think I wrote down the wrong date. I swear to you. And today I actually dropped the dog off, and so I had to wait because I'm sick. Oh. So after, I don't know how long you're staying. I might let you enter like while they're getting their stuff because they always need all the time on the test. Today's equilibrium and anticipate they will be. So I'll let you talk to them. I'll let you talk to them for a little while, like maybe up to 5 minutes, and then I gotta let them work tomorrow with the pep rally, so we're losing half class period. AP came to 4th period now. I don't know idea.
That seems weird to me. Like, not being chemistry second period was very weird to me.
Oh my gosh, I know. I like to see chemistry first thing in the morning. I'm like, 4th period?
Yes, but at the same
What?
time, we like not having it first thing in the morning because it's all the day to do our homework.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, hush. True story though.
Mountains of homework.
I have cut so much out of AP though.
He loves AP Bio.
I like biology, true, but I was a biology major. I just haven't taught AP bio.
Chemistry's better.
Chemistry's cool because it's got that math.
I'm going into OChem.
Nice. Oh, so you said you're hold on, how'd you like that penis thing the other day? Oh my gosh.
Beautiful.
I forgot that I had that video on there. I was like, oh, I have to show this. It's pretty funny.
Oh, is this 3D printed?
Yeah. I have a friend that prints them, and then somebody broke the leg off my bacteriophage Demi's. That was sad day.
When I get home, I'm gonna start pretty again. That's it.
You do realize we have a ton of 3D printing labs.
Have I?
That's awful.
I'm still videoing.
Oh.